Hello, friends and family, and welcome to Author Affairs, where we uncover the story behind the stories. My name is Dumaklaba. I'm a storyteller, an author, speaker, and I help writers navigate the complexities of their stories, which is why this podcast is a space where we will explore how stories are imagined, built, and brought into the real world and into the hands of readers. Because every book you've read, every story that keeps you turning the page late into the night, they all started from somewhere, long before the first chapter was even written. It could have started with a thought, a question, or maybe even a single moment that turned into an idea that refused to leave the writer alone. So, on Author Affairs, we will be going behind the scenes of storytelling, and we'll be talking about three things: the stories themselves, where they came from, and how they evolve over time. Secondly, the craft of writing, the characters, conflicts, twists, and the choices that shape the stories that we read. And finally, something I feel people don't talk about enough: the business of writing. Because writing a book is one thing, but turning writing into a discipline or a career is a completely different challenge. From publishing to finding readers, marketing to building a creative life around storytelling, we're pulling back the whole curtain and we're investigating the worlds of storytelling, craft, and the realities of the writing life. Because stories have always fascinated me, and I'm sure that may be true for many people. But for me, it's not always just about the stories themselves, but the process behind them and the people who wrote them, created them, and crafted them, and developed these worlds of imagination. We'll explore things like what makes a writer choose one idea over another. How does a simple concept turn into a full novel? And what happens behind the scenes before a story even reaches the hands of the reader? Because what readers don't see is the process behind the finished product, the months or the years of work, from the early ideas, the planning, the research, to the drafts that don't quite work, the characters that refuse to behave, and the constant questions that a writer has to answer while building a story. This podcast is about opening that door and letting you into that process. Because stories matter, not just because they help us explore the human condition, but because they help us understand choices, consequences, ambition, fear, justice, loyalty, and all the things that shape human life and behavior. And while a good story entertains, a great story asks questions. Why do people make the questions, excuse me, why do people make the decisions that they do? What pushes someone toward betrayal or the road to redemption? And what happens when people are forced into impossible choices? These are the kind of questions that drive many of the stories that I write, which explore crime, law, and the human condition. While the law deals with the truth, stories often explore motives, and motives are where things become very, very interesting. So on Author Affairs, you'll hear a mix of different conversations. On some episodes, we'll be sharing insights about storytelling, writing craft, and the process behind the work, while on other episodes, we'll explore the business of writing, the practical realities of publishing, building an audience, and the reality that the shifts of AI have created within the writing space. And at the heart of all of this is the simple idea of understanding the stories behind the stories. So stick around for the journey as we explore the craft of writing. And if you'd like to find out more, you can simply visit my website, which is www.dumaklaba.co.za, which is spelled dumoxaba.co.za. Or you can reach out to me on social media at Dumoxaba, which is also at DUMOXABA. So until next time, keep creating, keep dreaming, and keep writing. Stay blessed.